Hello and welcome Capricorn to your June blessings. So keep in mind these are collective in general. Receive what aligns, release what does not align with you. Never give your power away to a reading or an outcome. Remember that you are a conscious creator and that you shift and change your timeline with your free will choice. Okay, Capricorn, let's jump in. So we're going to start with, for living a stress-free life, what's a blessing for you in June? And we have, no matter how old I am, I can always learn more, and I do so with confidence. We also have, I'm willing to learn. The more I learn, the more I grow. Okay, so some of you are going to be exploring certain topics that you're passionate about. Maybe there's some sort of challenge that you're going to receive the solution for, and you might be learning new skills. So you are learning and growing and evolving here. And with like your inner child blessing, we have passion, do what excites you, get fired up about your life, increase your energy levels. So you're going to have time and space to explore and develop new skills that have to do with your passions, that have to do with your creativity, that have to do with things that energize you and inspire you and excite you, right? So that's something that is coming through here. Okay, I want to dive right away into the career message because I feel like a lot in June is coming up for you in career, Capricorn. We also have the Gemini Sacred Messenger, and of course, Gemini season, right? With your North Node purpose. So some of you, you're going to be receiving some sort of message, connecting with a guide, receiving a download, some sort of sacred messenger that's going to help you connect in with your purpose. Now, purpose is a pretty, extensive thing. For some people, they're like, only this is my life purpose. But really, we have all these little side quests. We have all these different things that we align with within our lives, right? Different, connections that we make. But some of you, you might be reaching that point where you're closing out a chapter in your experience, and this sacred messenger is bringing in this North Node purpose for you for kind of what is next. Now, some of you, if you know about your chart, check out your chart and see what your North Node is, because that could give you a little bit of a hint here. But it does feel like in June, there's going to be some sort of messenger that comes through. It could come from a Gemini, or it's in Gemini season, which is, pretty exciting for you, especially for those of you that have really been like, okay, I've done this, I've completed this chapter, I'm ready to expand, I'm ready to grow, I'm ready for something more, and I'm opening up my arms to receive that, right? And it's something that's going to feel so aligned and within your wheelhouse. And yes, you'll develop new skills and gifts, but it's exciting, right? The other blessing that we have, and I feel like this has to do around career because they look like they're dressed for career. This is kind of like an office space, is we have deception. Okay, clarifying that we have courage. So it might be that you call out somebody that's deceptive. It might be that there's some sort of gossip that is going around the office or your workspace and you kind of put an end to it. It might be that someone is revealed for their true colors, and that's something that is a blessing, right? It could be someone who, when we know who's not for us, when we know who's not, in alignment with us, it's helpful. It's helpful to know. But it takes courage here with that energy. So make sure you're keeping your energy, your energy field strong, taking the best care of your energy levels. Okay, it might be that you're the one that like hears this gossip and you're like, wait a second, and you kind of call these people out. Look at that look on her face, right? So it might be that, or, it could be a number of things, but either way, you're going to see through some sort of deception here, and you're going to have the courage to take aligned action, whether that is, being the end of that gossip chain that's happening, or just receiving that validation because she has that light on her heart space, receiving that validation of your intuition being correct about somebody. We already feel like you are pivoting here, Capricorn, in June. You're starting to look at different things. So maybe you are shifting, in your career or your job, or you've just been in a toxic environment, okay, within your career, your job, and that could be shifting and changing. You could be expanding onto a new path as well. So reason I say, and it's so interesting because this energy ties in with your intuitive blessing message, which is about ethical awareness. So Capricorn, you're intuitive, you have spiritual gifts and abilities. You have, at the very least, you have that, that gut response. You have that those messengers that you receive from your intuition, right? People, who aren't very open intuitively will say that. They'll be like, oh yeah, like listen to your gut, right? Well, it feels like you are, and you're navigating something in a way that is really ethically aligned, okay? And I feel like you're going to be receiving a reward for that, whether it's a new opportunity opening up, whether it's just more gifts or support and love from spirit. But this is also about knowing kind of what messages to share, knowing when to speak up, knowing, that if you are a medium, right, or you are sharing information, that it is in alignment with balanced, like a balanced perspective, that it is for the purpose of healing, that it is a aligned message, not something that you're using to like manipulate or anything like that. That being said, some of you could call somebody out who is trying to manipulate. That's another message coming through. So your coming through is incredibly strong here, Capricorn, okay? We also have voyage and truth, and there's that inner child message coming out again. So I feel like you're going to be making your inner child proud with something that you're pursuing, or an aligned direction that you are moving in here, okay? Because I feel like your inner child speaking to you about like who you can trust, who is false, like what direction that, you want to move in. And again, we have that passion energy coming through where you're able to pursue the things that light up your soul, right? That are really aligned with you here. Some of you might be traveling, okay? Some of you, it's just you're exploring more of your soul. You're exploring more of what's best for you, what aligns with you, and discovering more of your truth, right? If you were working in a really toxic environment, that's super draining. So how much time do you have to really do that soul digging, right? To really self-reflect. You don't have a lot of time, right? Or energy, but now it feels like that's freeing up, and it feels like your inner child's coming forward in a very healed and loving way. Okay, and things are moving forward here for you, okay? So we also have, for your creative blessing, magic happens when you most expect it. So life is going to become more magical. Behind that was you are magic, okay, in the deck. So there's a lot that I feel like Source wants to share with you, okay, about your magic, about your aligned path. Again, when we're in like a toxic work environment or environment that feels out of alignment, we can sometimes lose sense of ourselves, sense of our magic, sense of our own personal power, right? But Source is reminding you of that in June. And joy is also something that is coming through here. We have surrender to joy. A key of positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling during both the hard and easy times, and keep surrendering to more joy, because I feel like you're creating space for more joy. We also have surrender to rest and sleep to prevent burnout, slow down, honor your need for quiet time, and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. It's such a beautiful card. She's just kind of resting there on the shoulders of that horse. And, horses represent a lot of things, but one in particular is travel, right? But this is allowing herself to be carried, allowing herself to rest and, surrender and relax and recharge, and make sure, Capricorn, that you're releasing energies that are not yours, especially from toxic environments, right? And calling your energy back to you, cleansed, blessed, whole. And, now, like making that command and putting it out there so that people are not feeding on your energy. They don't have constant streams to your light. Okay. That's something else that's coming through here. So there's a compassionate gentleness, there's an unconditional love that's showing through. In love and relationships, we have the world and justice. So some of you are receiving justice in some sort of love situation. Others of you, you're like at that point where you're happy and fulfilled in your own energy and who you are. And it feels like Source wants to bring in a blessing of a partner or something that would bring in balance, bring in joy, bring in fulfillment into your experience. But I feel like, Capricorn, you're not coming from a place of lacking anything. Some of you, that you're in a partnership and things have been moving forward in a healthy way. With that World card and the Justice card, that could talk about things getting more serious, becoming more official. That's another message that's coming through. Some of you could be dealing with a Libra. You don't have to be, but overall, Capricorn, like, you're really grounded in who you are and in your self-love, and exploring that which it brings so much enjoyment to you. Like, I'm getting like the fairy energy. I'm getting the playful energy coming through. We also have in love and relationships a message you might hear from someone, whether it's a friend or again could just be could be a romantic relationship. We have, I love how you're not toxic for me. That's coming through. So some of you, it's like you might have released a really toxic cycle. You've done a lot of healing work, and it's possible you could be attracting in someone, or at the very least, people are like noticing you standing out and shining in this like healthy energy, like a diamond. That really appreciate your authenticity. Of course, you know, honor your boundaries and listen to your intuition and everything. It's important that people cultivate that healthy energy and perspective within themselves and don't just try to take that from you, right? So be conscious and aware and integrate your wisdom here, but you're definitely standing out as a healthy influence, as someone who puts, you know, who stands up for what is right and what they believe in. Some other blessings that are coming through is we have the forest energy, of course, the earth sign energy, the trees. You know, some of you might want to ground, you know, or spend time in nature. That's going to be really rejuvenating. That can help you with refreshing your energy, especially after being in an environment that's a bit dense or heavy. You can rest, relax, recharge. Nature will naturally lift our frequency. And some of you in the forest atmosphere is where you're going to be able to connect with your heart space, where you're going to be able to connect with, you know, your guides. You're going to be able to connect with that, you know, those divine downloads, and just be able to rejuvenate, rest, recharge, right? Another place that's coming through is the train. Now, I'm not so much sensing that this is the train, and this could be my own bias because I'm not a fan of trains at all. But more so what I got coming through here, unless some of you, you know, you take the train to work, or you travel on the train, or you like trains. But more so what was coming through with this train energy is like something finally feels like it's on track for you after feeling out of alignment for so long, okay? Someone who could be bringing you a blessing in June is the civil servant, okay? It's guardian of the public good, a public official, administration. So it could be somebody that you work with. It could be just someone who is supportive of you or helpful, okay? Someone in a place of authority, or someone who just kind of goes out of their way to assist you. Of course, always use, you know, your discernment here. But I feel that's almost like your energy, Capricorn, that you are guardian of the public good, you know, whether it's in your office or whether it's in the forest, and, you know, you're attracting in, you know, different energies, like you're a safe space, like that could be it as well. You could be in that energy yourself. So that is what I have, Capricorn. That went fast. I hope that brought you value and excitement. Thank you so much for joining me. Receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Take the best care of yourself, and I will see you soon.